stream. We may just keep it going. What's up, everybody? We are live. We're going to go over today. Welcome to the stream, the Ni Miami Ni Show. Pretty uncut tonight. We're going to go pretty hard. Last night was an epic stream or X space with Trump coming back on Elon Musk's X. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. I mean, it was definitely a fun conversation. All right, guys. So let's jump in, and everyone who's on the stream, please comment. You know where you're from, what city you're from. I'd love to know what country you're in, and any questions, anything you guys would like to talk about. Just go ahead and jump in on the chat. All right, so let's just jump right into it because we got a lot to go over in the next 45 minutes or so. You know, so all right, let's go right in.
To speak. We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people. And it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And then you do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive.
We're actually hearing billionaires. We're actually hearing like 2 billionaires. We're literally listening to the guy who's the richest man in the world, basically, or one of the richest men in the world, talking to a former president who's also a billionaire. I mean, it's pretty surreal that we're just like listening to this casual conversation, right? All right, so let's go in. They're about to go in on the assassination stuff, which is going to be, we can talk about that. Because as many of you know, this guy just survived an assassination attempt, which was fucking surreal. And like, this is just completely gone from the news headlines. If this would have happened to a Democrat, this would have been the biggest news since he would have been the biggest hero of the, fucking since sliced bread. All right, but let's go ahead.
So we have to consider it an honor, but congratulations on breaking every record in the book tonight. That's great.
Well, thank you. Well, I mean, maybe we could start off with, the assassination attempt, which was an incredible thing. And I have to say that, your actions after that assassination attempt were inspiring. You, instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying, fight, fight, fight. And I think that's, the president of the United States represents America. And I think that is America. That is strength under fire. And so that's...
Yo, how many of you guys have seen a picture of the guy that actually tried to kill Trump? Like, you could just imagine if that thing went in his face and his fucking head exploded on. Let's look at the picture of the kid that almost killed Trump, like this close from killing a fucking president. Like think about Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, bro. Like, motherfuckers know about that, from back in the day. But like, let's look at this situation. Like, look at this kid, dude. Like, look at this kid. Like, how is this even possible when you look at this kid? Like, this is the kid. I've met Trump before. I've literally met Donald Trump before. I'm a big dude, okay? I'm a little skinny motherfucker. Yeah, I admit I'm a lean dude. I'm 43, about to be 44, but I'm about 6'1.5", with shoes about 6'3", like real 6'3", not just guys on the internet say they're 6'3". Trump's a big motherfucker. He's like 6'4", heavy motherfucker, Like, he's not a little guy. And you're talking about this guy almost blew his fucking head off. So, when you look at him, so there was clearly a huge lapse in security protocol, because how the fuck did that kid even step outside without causing concerns? That kid literally looks like he skins rabbits for fun. If I saw that kid in person, I'd immediately be afraid for my life. So I don't know how security dropped the ball on that one. I just don't know. All right, let's go.
A big, part of the reason why I was excited to endorse you as the president of the United States for having another term here is that was just incredibly inspiring. But I mean, what was it like for you?
Not pleasant. I have to
Not
be honest.
pleasant.
I said there was
I
blood. I
mean,
had
being
more
shot is
blood.
not
I didn't
much
know
fun.
I didn't know I had that much blood. The doctors later told me that the ear is a place that is a very bloody place if you're going to get hit. But in this case, it was probably the best alternative you could even think about because it went at the right angle, and it was a hard hit. It was very, I guess you would say surreal, but it wasn't surreal. I was telling somebody you have instances like this, or like a lot less than this, where you feel it's a surreal situation, and I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear,
Yeah.
and because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, "Bullets, bullets!" Get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly, and we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter, and so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was
Yeah.
for those
Split
people that
second.
don't believe in God. I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer now. I'm more of a believer, I think, and a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect
Yeah.
angle,
I
and
mean,
all
so
because
so just think about it. So in the chat, and by the way, anybody that has any ideas you want to talk about this, please put in the chat. What's up, J Love? Jamie says he looks like he's transitioning. Danzy says there's something fishy about the assassination attempt. Definitely not going to miss it. Anthony Danzy, wow, that's very nice. Okay, so here's the thing. When you think about the Trump assassination, right? Man got shot at by angry white kid with a gun, but the man survives the shooting and stands up holding a black power fist to symbolize his strength. Now, if this was the synopsis of a Netflix film, they'd cast that man as black. So if y'all want a black president, Trump is the best choice because that Kamala bitch is Pakistani or something. Just saying. Let's go.
I put down a chart on immigration that showed that the numbers were so great. I love that chart
I
even
mean,
more
maybe it's
now
a
than I
sign.
ever.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's a sign,
it's an immigration sign.
You
But
highlighted a serious issue, and
yeah,
at that moment, the,
that's
the, the,
right.
the bullet missed your, hit your ear, but missed your head. I mean,
Well, the
from,
the amazing thing is that the sign, I said, bring down that sign on immigration, and it was literally about an eighth of a second where it would be good, and after that, it was going to
yeah,
be a disaster, no matter which way you were facing. But it just had that perfect angle, which was
yeah,
exactly at this shooter. Very sad situation. Such a sad situation. As you know, we lost somebody that was great, Corey,
yeah,
who a firefighter, a great gentleman, a great trumper. He was just a fantastic family and a fantastic man. And a friend of mine came up, Elon, and said, "I'd like to give the family some kind of help." And I said, "All right, that's great." He said, "Do you mind?" I said, "I don't mind at all." And he wrote out a check for $1 million, gave it to the wife. And, you know, she said, "This is really nice, but I'd rather have my husband back," which is a nice thing for
sure,
somebody to say, to be
That's
honest.
love. I mean, think about it.
She's great.
Like, just think about it. Like, we talk about how he has this trophy wife, and that's some loyalty right there. Like she was just, here we are talking about, Trump as a president, but that's actually that's actually her husband. I mean, of course she's worried about him. I mean, think about everybody. Think about his son, Barron. He's a little shorty. He's actually a tall dude, but let's say he just finished high school. I mean, that's actually his fucking dad. Not to mention Donald Trump is people's granddad, right? He has several kids. I mean, just think about it. So, all right. Someone said the bullet was very fast and silent. Yeah. Fortunately for God, yeah, he didn't die. Okay. So, all right, guys. So let's now go into some other good stuff here. Let's go into another part of the space of the conversation that they were having, where they were discussing some other things, in particular California, which I thought was a unique highlight. They talk about California. So let's start that.
Never happened in our country. It does happen in banana republics and third world countries, but it's never happened. And the incredible thing is it actually drove my numbers up, because people see, fortunately I have a platform like you, or, in all fairness, like a conversation like this, where I can talk about it and people understand. I mean, you fight for election integrity and you end up getting indicted because you're fighting for election integrity. And when the day comes that you can't fight for election integrity, you don't have a country anymore. So what happens is they went after their political opponent, me. Now Biden's, close to vegetable stage, in my opinion. Okay, I looked at him today on the beach, and I said, why would anybody allow him? The guy could barely walk. Why would anybody allow him? Does he have a political advisor?
Guys, here's what I want to say. Like, honestly, I make a lot of fucking jokes. I personally don't like to joke about Joe Biden's cognitive ability. I mean, he could be somebody's granddad, I personally, like, I make a whole sorts of fucking jokes, to be honest. Like, I don't give a fuck, but that's a joke I don't really like, but in this situation, Trump, I get it. Like, he's talking about his political opponent, and he's talking about his cognitive ability. I mean, I get it. I get it. They're going at each other, but it's sad. I think it's sad when we do that. That being said, I don't think the homie should have even been in the race. It's sad whoever's controlling him, throwing him under the bus so they can have power over America. It's a sad situation, man. I'm not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. Dirty politics is dirty game. So, all right, let's keep going.
That think this looks good. He thinks this looks good because it looks so bad. And it's ridiculous. I mean, and he's been doing that for a long time. He can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3 ounces. It's meant for children and old people to lift, and he can't lift it. The whole thing is crazy.
Well, he's clearly not, I mean, he's clearly, like, we just don't have a president right now.
You don't have a president, and she's going to be worse than him, because she is a San Francisco liberal who destroyed San Francisco, and then as Attorney General, she destroyed California. You talk about location, and we're talking about the sun.
He's going hard. Go ahead. He's going
and the
hard.
Water and all. There's nothing better than California. She has destroyed that. She was the original DA. She was the original in San Francisco. She was the original Attorney General in California. What she has done to California is, well, you know better than I do. You just left California for a lot of those reasons. And what she's done with crime, with cashless bail, where you kill somebody. I mean, we have states now, you kill somebody and they let you out right away. I mean, you don't have to even put up, and then they never find the people unless they kill again, and then they let them out again. Our country is becoming a very dangerous place. And she is a radical left San Francisco liberal. And now she's trying to protect. Now she's looking like she wants to be more Trump than Trump, if that's possible. I don't think it's possible, but she wants to be more Trump than Trump.
Yeah.
I want a wall.
I think that's,
she wants to release all the prisoners that are in detention, and some of these guys are really bad.
Right.
That just came out today.
It's pretty crazy to, like, hear how Trump talks. Like, the fact is, he's pretty, to be a real estate developer in New York City, you gotta be tough. I worked in New York City real estate. That's a really tough business. I remember the first year I got into New York real estate, I met Trump, because I used to work at 575 Madison Avenue, and I met him, and he encouraged me to read his book and so forth. This is before he became president. And the real estate developers in New York, you really got to have balls of steel. That's a tough fucking business. Not only is it tough to raise capital, not only is it tough to figure out what the property is going to be like in fucking 5 years. You don't have no fucking clue what the market's going to look like. Not only that, he has to deal with all the regulation and fucking a bunch of fucking bureaucrats in these New York City offices who might be fucking miserable in their jobs, and they just want to fuck a guy like Trump up and down the street, or any real estate developer they view as rich. Anti-capitalist fucking commie-run organizations in New York City. One reason why I'm not in New York City anymore, I spent about 15 years in New York City. You're talking about so much taxes you got to spend to be in New York City. And you got the fucking vicious crime. I basically have to pay the same amount. I'm in Germany right now. I'm in Bochum, Deutschland. All right. In Germany. And here in Germany, taxes are high, but it's a fucking safe country. It's a safe fucking country. In New York City, you talking about fucking guys shooting guns and all sorts of shit. Here, my wife and my daughter can walk down the street at night, all good. People don't fuck around here. You know, they just don't do it here. Cops will fucking take one of these guys, put them in fucking prison. They don't fuck around. In America, they just do anything they fucking want. You know, I was born and raised in the United States. I love America. I'm always going to be patriotic because that country saved my grandfather's life when he fled Iran, when the Iranian regime, you know, we used to be more moderate, I would say, or at least more friendly with the United States and Europe. These fucking fanatics came, excuse my language, I would say some extremists came into power around 1979. Anyway, long story short, you got to be a tough motherfucker with balls of steel to be someone that's a real estate developer in New York City. You know, that's the sort of person that when he's in leader and he's dealing with other countries, they're not going to fuck around with Trump. Iran's not going to fuck around with Trump the way they will Kamala. They're going to fucking bend her over and fuck her in her ass. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Who here thinks Kamala Harris is going to do better? Yeah, who the heck here thinks Kamala Harris is going to do better with fucking the leaders of Russia, Iran, and China or Trump? Bruh. Like, are we even having this fucking discussion? Let's look at the conversation here. The taxes in New York City are incredibly high. Wow, you've met Trump before. Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's look at this other comment. Who's put the lisp on Trump's voice? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Maybe he didn't have the fucking thing in his teeth. I don't fucking know. In his mouth. Okay, someone says New York City has been fucked up, killings up and down. It's no more. Yeah, it's really not that safe. Like, it's just not. You know, so now we're gonna go back into this, and they're talking. All right, so let's jump right back in.
By the way, build the wall, even though the wall.
By the way, I just want to be clear here. Just because I personally am giving you my experience with Donald Trump, you know, in person, I'm not saying for you to go vote for Trump. I'm not telling you to go vote for Kamala Harris. It's none of my business who you vote for. I'm never going to tell you who to vote for. Okay, and who I'm voting for is actually I've made an intentional decision to not do a stream and say who I'm voting for. It's none of your business. To be honest, it's none of your business. I like that in America we can be private about something like that. You know, it's like saying, hey, Nima, when I'm with a girl and I'm taking her home at night, do I like it if she licks my balls, or, you know, do I come on her face or do I come on her chest? Who gives a fuck what I do? That's private. You know, that's private. You know, it's none of your fucking business. You know, it's just some things are just none of people's business. I think it's pretty fucking private who you would vote for. You know, but objectively speaking, I think we could agree that Trump would be more respected than Kamala, I think, dealing with Iran. I think so. And I think we could pretty much all agree that if Israel were to destroy the Iranian fucking regime, we'd have a lot more peace in the Middle East. All right, let's go.
Walls work. Walls and wheels. You know, in your business, everything you do is obsolete. Almost, well, not the tunnels, but everything is obsolete. Even your rocket ships, they're like a month later, they're obsolete. You find a better way to. The only thing that's not obsolete is a wall and a wheel. And the wall, you know, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and that's why we had such good numbers. I was going to add 200 miles. We bought it. We could have flipped it up in 3 weeks. And they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. That meant, I said, wow, that means that they actually do want to have open borders. She wants to have open borders, and now she's going like she's tough on the border.
Kamala Harris is going to fucking open up. Kamala Harris is going to open up the fucking country border. We're not even going to have a fucking country. It's so true. Without a border, without culture, what the fuck do we have in the United States, dude? Like, the borders are going to be, we're going to fucking just we're going to open up a fucking Holiday Inn up and down the fucking Texas border, California or Texas fucking border. Just let these fucking people in. And then what? What happened to our country, dude? Who's paying for all this shit, by the way? Who's paying for all of this stuff? You go to New York City, or let me just say, think about the places you go to in the United States today that have fucking immigrants and migrants, illegals in the fucking hotel. Who's paying for this stuff? Who's benefiting from this stuff? Let's look at the comments. We want Trump back. And by the way, I encourage you guys to talk in the comment section. I don't want to fucking talk to a wall. Talk to me. I'm not going to bite. I'm going to fucking fucking Jew here in Germany. I'm one of the fucking few Jews here in Germany. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm American. I'm American expat here in Germany. All right. So let's look at the text here. Talk to me a little bit. I want to know from you motherfuckers what you think. All right. So the creamy goodness is the GOP and the neocons do not represent American Jews. The GOP represents a small minority of Zionist foreigners. What does that mean, bro? What does that mean? Do you know how many Christians support Israel? If you go throughout the country, and I'm not talking about homosexuals like fucking Nick Fuentes on X. I'm talking about the United States as a whole. How many Christians, if you go to Israel, I've been to Israel, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Turkey, I've been to Dubai, UAE, I've been to Iran. My family's from these areas, Iran and Israel, Jerusalem boy. Okay. For those of you that call my people sand people, what do you think Jesus was? Moses was? What do you think Bethlehem and Nazareth is? Okay. My family was in Jerusalem and Iran. So now here, let me tell you something. The bottom line is this. Okay. The fact of the matter is Israel's holding the fucking line for the West. Israel is holding the line. Make no mistake. That homosexual Nick Fuentes is Israel first. He just wants to fucking destroy Israel. He doesn't give a shit. That's what he cares about first. And he has the audacity, that homosexual Nick Fuentes, to say other people are Israel first when that motherfucker is Israel first. That's the irony about Nick Fuentes. He doesn't care about any fucking thing other than just destroy the Jews. Everything's fucking blame the Jews with Nick Fuentes, that homosexual, right? And his pedophile fucking group, the gayers. All right, so let's look at this. We want Trump back as our president. If we can agree to cooperate and make our champ win this election, it's going to be a complete, okay. All right, cool. All bullshit all around. All right, so cool. Let's go back to this. Let's stay focused on the conversation.
Lie.
Yeah, this is simply not true. This is simply not true.
And everybody knows
it's
it's
simply
not true. It's a disgrace that she can say it.
It is a disgrace.
No, I mean, obviously, what's happening sort of overnight is they're rewriting history and making Kamala sound like a moderate when in fact she is far left, like far left.
Worse than Bernie Sanders. She is considered more liberal by far than Bernie Sanders. She's a radical left lunatic. And if she's going to be our president, very quickly, you're not going to have a country anymore. And she'll go back to all of the things that she believes in. She believes in defunding the police. She believes in no fracking, zero. Now all of a sudden she's saying, no, I really want to see fracking. If they got in, the day she got in, she'll end fracking. And by the way, if people didn't think that, the lunatics that really believe in that, they won't vote for her. Like the Palestinians and Israel. She is so anti-Israel, and she's bad for both. Biden actually did something that was impossible. Both sides hate him, both sides. That was a hard thing to do, unification.
Yeah, no. I mean, Netanyahu came to give a talk to a joint Senate and House sitting, and I was there, and Kamala stood him up. What does that say?
I think it's highly disrespectful. And I say, if you're a Jewish person or if you believe in Israel, if you're a person that, is a very pro-Israel, if you vote for her, it's worse than Biden. And Biden was bad. But if you vote for her, you ought to have your head examined. And you see tonight, I mean, as we're doing this, I'm seeing reports coming that they expect an attack tonight or tomorrow from hundreds and maybe thousands of rockets. Their Iron Dome, as they call it, as we all call it, but their shield that they build, that can be swamped. We'll use the term that's appropriate, swamped. But they swamp it by shooting enough missiles. You know this better than anybody. By shooting enough missiles, they can't defend themselves. They just obliterate the whole place. And that's what some people think they're looking to do. And we have no leadership. There's no respect for the United States of America with these people. And I'm telling you, she'll be worse than him because she's a believer in being radical left, and he wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. Let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest. I understand some people are like, why are we funding Israel? The fact of the matter is Israel is a highly, and And I don't give a fuck if you say, oh, Nima, you're a Jew, you support Israel. Yeah, I do support Israel, but I also love the United States of America. America saved my grandfather's life when he fled Iran, all right, in the 1970s. I definitely have patriotism towards the United States of America. This notion that you can't be an American and you can't be Jewish is fucking ridiculous. Okay, that's something that some Iranian bot, you know, that's what an Iranian, Qatari, Russian lapdog like the homosexual Nick Fuentes or Sneeko will say. Okay, so now let's just bring this down. The idea of Israel going out. Israel's gone. Israel's gone. Then who's coming next? Europe? Who's coming next? You think these fanatics are going to stop at Eastern Europe? You think they're going to stop? You don't think they're going to want to take Eastern Europe back? You don't think they're going to take Spain back? Let's just look at history. Let's just look at history. All right, Trump, let's get the fucking W here. Come on.
I think you're right. I mean, it's important for the public that may be listening to this to look at Kamala's track record, before the last month, and say, is that a track record you agree with? And I think if you're an independent moderate, you definitely would not agree with it, because it is her behavior has been far left, and we're seeing just an overnight propaganda attempt to rewrite history and make it sound like Kamala's moderate when she in fact is not moderate.
Well, her running mate signed into legislation, tampons in boys' bathrooms. Okay, now that's all I have to hear. Tampons in boys.
So speaking about tampons, let's just, so for those of you guys who don't know, I know for some of you people who aren't in the United States, you have no fucking clue I'm about to blow your fucking mind. I know I got maybe an international audience. I'm here in Germany. I'm American, born and raised, Atlanta, Georgia. Lived in New York City about 15 years, all right? But here, let's talk about this. In America, this is going to blow your fucking mind what's going on right now. Just for the people who don't know what's going on in the United States, okay? This is like a fucking boys' locker room, okay? This is a boys' locker room, okay? That's a tampon, bro. That's a tampon. Let's look at the news clip where homie talks about it. Guy talks about what's happening over here.
Tampon dispenser just 20 minutes after it was installed in their high school bathroom. Which raises the question, why did it take so long? The boys' tampon vending machine, and let's pause to appreciate the beauty of that wording, was installed as part of a new state law that calls for free menstrual products in at least one men's bathroom in every high school. Yeah, it's a law that is about as logical as free aqua velva in a girl's bathroom. In an email obtained by a Connecticut news site, the principal expressed his deep disappointment, quote, I am aware that the law says men's bathroom, but the actions today were the work of immature boys, not men. This is the most egregious instance of vandalism. It generally only happens in boys' bathrooms. You think? That's rich. This is the most egregious instance of vandalism? No, it's the most heroic. Fact is, they are boys, and the only thing that upsets a woke lemming more is someone who's resistant to their brainwash. And adolescent boys are the least susceptible to woke. So it's not immaturity, it's common sense. Also...
All right, so guys, so this is, I don't know how many of you guys think that this is crazy. We're literally, if you could go back to the tampon thing, actually, we can just look at this. Let's just look at this tampon. Hold on a second here. It's a tampon. Okay, the tampon. All right, make it a little bigger here. Let me see. Okay, so basically what we're looking at here, just for the record, just so we can really, I want you to look at this bathroom thing, okay? Democrats want to put tampons in boys' bathrooms to be inclusive to anyone who was born female but identifies as a male. But when I go in to a woman's bathroom, it's not inclusive. Instead, it's creepy. And I'm not supposed to be sticking my head under the stalls to look at women that are naked. Like, make it make sense. Does that sound fair to y'all? Does it? I mean, we're anything goes at this point, right? Fucking anything goes. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep going about let's get back to the Elon and talking about California.
And that means she believes
Yeah.
in that too. I mean,
Yeah, that's
she
not
picked
okay.
this guy because he was the closest to her. A lot of people thought she'd pick sort of the opposite, but she picked an anti-Israel radical left person. But she is far worse, they say, than Bernie Sanders. If we have her as a president, if we have a Democrat at this moment as a president, I don't think our country can survive.
I think it's a massive. I think we're in massive trouble, frankly, with the Kamala administration, and that's my honest opinion. And I think really it's essential that you win for the good of the country for this election, and I mean that's understating my opinion. Now, you may have seen this, but I got a letter from the EU Commission, like saying, to not have disinformation on during this discussion that we're having, and there's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship even on Americans.
See, this is the thing about California right now. Basically, what's going on is that, here's Elon talking about California. And the thing is that California is being basically destroyed by far leftists. Trump spoke on this in the conversation, and I wholeheartedly agree. The last occasion I was in California, I realized it's basically become a fairy tale land. As long as you add, I feel like, in front of your sentence, you can't be wrong. Unless you say, I feel like I want some head. That one still doesn't work. Let's go back to it.
And what do you think about that?
Well, I know the European Union very well. They take great advantage of the United States in trade, as you know. We, through a different forum, NATO, we protect them. And yet, if you build a car in the United States, you can't sell it in Europe. You just can't sell it. It's impossible. The same thing with our farmers. Our farmers find it very difficult to do business. We have a deficit with them of $250 billion, which people don't know. It sounds so nice, the European Union, but let me tell you, they're not as tough as China, but they're bad. And I let them know it. And that's probably why they notified you. No, they don't treat our country well. We defend them, with Ukraine. So we're in for 250 billion, and they're in for about 71 billion, and they have the same size. If you add up the European nations that in terms of an economy, it's about the same size. Wouldn't you say as us? And they're in, and they're in much greater risk. They're right there. We have an ocean separating us from. In this case, the enemy would be Russia. It used to be for the Soviet Union, but let's assume they're close enough. And what happens is they're in for 70-something million. I think even less than that, billion.
Let's just so we go. I know we're coming out of a little bit of we've been going a while. So yeah, just to go to another thing here. There's a how the media has basically misrepresented what happened with Elon Musk and Trump. So I'm about to give you a great example of this. Okay, let's look at this CNN clip. There's a CNN clip where they're talking about something which they completely took out of context. Let's go into it.
That was kind of classic. Well, there were a lot of exchanges that were classic Donald Trump, but this one really stuck out to us.
And Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
Right,
it's
right,
really
right.
not
That's
something
right.
that
That's right.
So it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So that was more Elon Musk than Donald Trump. talking about, sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago, I think 80 years ago next year, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, now it's okay. Kind of trying to blow off the impact of that. I want to play one exchange that.
Okay, so basically, and now let's look at that. So just so you guys understand what's going on here, she basically, what CNN just did, blatant, it's so rich that CNN is talking about the misrepresentation of X with the indoctrination of Elon Musk. When there's like an indictment in the court of public opinion, how much CNN lies through their fucking teeth. They just took Elon Musk and Donald Trump and basically selectively did some magic editing on it. And they made a claim, basically, that Hiroshima and the Nagasaki bombings were not a big deal. But if you look at the full clip of that, it shows very clearly that they're talking about nuclear energy. Now, as if that's not enough, the media, which has pretty much lost so much credibility already. See, this is how it works. You got social media, you got media, and you got schools all pumping you with indoctrination. Okay, look at this sort of comedy there. I do comedy videos, believe it or not. Look at the comedy they're promoting on Instagram. Okay, they'll promote a comedy that's focused on women, right? And it's focused on what? The gays. But if you make comedy for men, then guess what happens? Then all of a sudden you're banned for hate speech, right? But here's the thing. This is how they destroy you. They ban you, suppress you. Right? Meanwhile, the comedian that's doing it for women and gays, and he's acting like a fucking homo, he's acting feminine, that guy's getting a $3, $5, $10 million fucking touring because he's getting promoted. He's getting promoted in the New York Times. He's getting promoted in CNN, New York Times. Then these motherfuckers will go on Instagram and pander to you, on TikTok and pander to you about inclusivity and how you're fucking welcomed. It's bullshit. Okay, and plus they're doing it in the media. So now you got the media, you got the fucking billboards, you got social media, all fucking you with indoctrination. Then you got the school fucking you to hate you if you're fucking white or Jew. That's definitely going to happen. Somebody will be like, oh, the most highly educated people are fucking anti-Semites. Yeah, the most highly educated people hate fucking whites in America. So now let's look at the fucking headlines. Look at all these headlines. Trump repeats same talking points during Musk interview, but the former president's lisp steals the show. Donald Trump and Elon Musk's X conversation took forever. Look, all of these, dude, look at all of this media slamming Trump. You don't think that's happening to your algorithm on Instagram? You don't think that's happening to your algorithm on TikTok? TikTok maybe taking one fucking conservative like Trump, maybe promoting him, and then fucking censoring a vast majority of conservatives. The only fucking conservatives that can really get on TikTok are the fucking anti-Semites. Why? Because China will pump anti-Semitism on their fucking TikTok. Meanwhile, in China, one of the best-selling books is How to Think Like a Jew, and one of their best business books. Give me a fucking break. So in this thing right here, look at all the fucking headlines of them trashing Trump. They destroyed Trump in the fucking media. It didn't matter what the fucking guy said. The guy, Kamala Harris, could come here and basically not say a fucking word, and they would have fucking talked about how she was so fucking perfect. All of these fucking media is fucking against Trump. I mean, let's just be objectively speaking. Can we acknowledge that all of the media slamming him, there's a bias? How can we still have credibility in the media? Kamala shakes her ass with one of America's biggest whores just to pander to black people's vote. And Trump is getting slammed for an educated conversation with Elon Musk. Make it make sense. Elon. Almost all of legacy media will trash the Trump conversation, thus driving listeners probably past 200 million. Motherfucker nailed it. Elon nailed it. Nailed it. What would have happened to the United States of America if Elon didn't buy X? Ask yourself, with everything that's come out, where would we be if there was not a Rumble? Where would we not be? Where would we be? I just made a joke about Kamala's ass. That's going to be what? Hate speech on fucking TikTok? At least here I can fucking say it. Right? Talking about Kamala enjoying anal. Maybe that would get fucking taken down on Instagram. It's not just media. It's also social media. It's also your comedy. It's also your entertainment. It's also your school. It's also traditional media. They're all fucking you. All right, let's go. Let's get back into it.
And we're in for about 250 billion, and it could be a lot higher than that. And I say, why aren't you going to equalize? Why aren't they paying what we're paying? And they're in much more, it's much more important for them because of the fact that, they're right near there. I mean, they're all sort of in that location. We're not. But they should, and I did it with NATO. There were only 7 countries that were paid up in NATO out of 28 at the time. And the United States was the United States was subsidizing NATO, tremendously subsidizing NATO. And I said, I went in and I said, you got to pay up. If you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you any longer. I took a lot of heat, but you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in. And
I think a lot of the public isn't aware of the fact that the United States pays a disproportionate share of the NATO expenses.
And then we get taken advantage of on trade. So think about it.
Well, I mean, the point of NATO is defending Europe, and it's it's like, then okay, well, why is the United States paying disproportionately more to defend Europe than Europe? That doesn't make sense. That's unfair, and that is an appropriate thing to address.
Well, when you talk about cost cutting and savings and everything else, I mean, honestly, look, there's nobody that feels worse about the Ukraine situation than I do, because I know it would have never happened. I know Zelensky. He was very honorable to me, because when they went with the Russia hoax and they said I had a phone call with him, he said it was a perfect phone call. It was a great phone call. He could have grandstanded and, said, oh, he was very threatening. He said, no, it was a very nice phone call. I called him up to congratulate him on his win, and you end up getting impeached because these people are lunatics. I was talking about the difference from the people within and the enemies on the outside. In many cases, the people from within are more dangerous for our country than the Russias and the Chinas. If you have a smart president, you're not going to have a problem with them. You're going to do things.
Yeah.
Now, they've taken advantage of us
Absolutely.
incredibly, but you're going to do things with the right person.
Yeah, well, I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech, because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with with false attacks, and you didn't try to shut down the media. You didn't try to inhibit their freedom of speech, and I think that says a lot.
Well, the good thing is that you and I have, and some people, very few, we can get the word out.
Let's
Although
just be
sometimes
honest.
it's hard.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how amazing Elon Musk is to be able to buy an app, basically lose money, have his reputation destroyed, and be able to have this sort of conversation without them trying to trash him? Let's just think about how it was when Trump was at that journalist meeting, I think in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not sure. It was somewhere. I'm not certain where it was. And they trashed the fuck out of him. And now look at Elon here. Now, bear in mind, I'm not telling you to go vote for Trump. Okay? I'm an independent. I keep it real with you. Again, who I'm voting for is none of your business. Okay? It's like asking me what's the color of my underwear. None of your fucking business. All right? Do I like to get a blowjob in the morning or at night? None of your fucking business. But I just want to say, objectively speaking, when he's talking about free speech, okay, free speech is, I just did a fucking, if I just did a video, a comedy video on X, okay, if you go on my X, you'll see an image. You'll see an image where you will see I have a TikTok, I have a video that I did, let's say Sunday. It's at 19,000 views. Right now, I don't know what it's at now, but it's at about 2.8 fucking million. What? Bear in mind, this is Tuesday. We're talking about Sunday till today. I had a video do 25 million views on X this year. I haven't had one video on Instagram do 1 million on my main page. Why? Because I have so many fucking content. My content violation list is like this. Look at me. People on Rumble look at me like a liberal fucking Jew. People on Rumble talk about me like I'm a liberal Jew. I'm not even a far righty. But I love this app because it allows free speech. Rumble supports comedy. X supports comedy. How could I not like these motherfuckers? Of course I like them. They're welcoming. They're not banning me. I've never got a content violation on Rumble. I've never gotten a content violation for saying a joke on Rumble. These people should be fucking ashamed of themselves. I'm not trying to steal Trump's line, but I'm just being honest. At least you think I've ever gotten a content violation for saying a joke on X? And, you know, this is how Instagram will fuck you. First of all, TikTok, I had about 784,000 followers. They completely banned me. Okay, completely fucked me. Completely fuck you. You're out of here. Instagram will do this. As soon as you start getting 300,000, 500,000, 800,000, a million views, boom, content violation. Boom, 6 months shadow ban. They fucked you. You're gone. Meanwhile, they're promoting a homosexual comedian up and down the fucking street, stroking him, and then talking, and then pandering to you about how it's fucking inclusive. And then that's the guy that's going to now go on a fucking 30-city tour and make $10 million. The whole Matt Rife is a fucking psyop. Then they, you know, he was after Andrew Tate came, who's a degenerate, a liar, possible closeted transsexual. But after Andrew Tate got banned, Matt Rife was promoted heavily. That's not by coincidence. I don't think that was a coincidence. I think the whole thing was a Chinese Communist Party fucking psyop. And I know for a fact that Drew Follow, the toxic feminist cunt, that fat pig who harasses men till this day, that fat pig who now has like a book with a billboard on Times Square. I stood up to that fat pig. I got banned defending these fucking men who get bullied and shamed, and they celebrate when their accounts are fucking closed. That fat pig. All right, let's go back to that. Let's stay focused on the conversation here, all right? Do you think a change in leadership alone, do I think new leadership alone could address the complex issues affecting American rights or broader systematic? Yeah, you know, Nima's based and for being unbased and thank you, bro. Yeah, so you know what? Here's what I think, and this is the fucking reality, all right? I'm in Germany. The American pharmaceutical industry is fucking you in America. I'm an expat. I got health insurance in Germany. You can listen to me, not listen to me. I don't give a fuck. Actually, I do give a fuck because I care about your life. I'm lying. I do care. You know, it's like almost midnight here. So on a Tuesday night, yeah, I care. So you're getting ripped off by the pharmaceutical industry in the United States. Okay. I think China's, you know, you hear the homosexual Nick Fuentes and the closeted gay, maybe Sneeko. They talk about how Israel is this big foreign lobbyist, canceled Coco, who benefits from the Chinese Communist Party in China to promote his propaganda. You got that homosexual Jake Shields. You got that homosexual Nick Byron. Like, just think how these this is like the homosexual lunch table at your high school. They're so focused on the Israel lobby. They're so focused on the Israel lobby. Go look at how much China gives to fucking influence the United States politicians. And then you talk to me about who's the biggest lobbyist, AIPAC or fucking China. It's a fucking joke. Let's look at how much, now let's look at industry, oil, big pharmaceutical. Let's look at the big food. And we're here fucking focused on tiny Israel. Give me a fucking break. All right. The only speech. So let's just for a second here. Elon Musk here is talking about what? Free speech, right? He's talking about free speech. Let's see. Where was he? If you could go back like 15 seconds here.
And for about 250 billion, and it could be a lot higher than that. And I say, why aren't you going to equalize? Why aren't they paying what we're paying? And they're in much more, it's much more important for them because of the fact that, they're right near there. I mean, they're all sort of in that location. We're not. But
Yeah.
they should, and I did it with NATO. There were only 7 countries that were paid up in NATO out of 28 at the time. And the United States
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the United States was subsidizing NATO, tremendously subsidizing NATO. And I went
Yeah.
in and I said, you
Yeah.
got to pay up. If you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you any longer. I took a lot of heat, but you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in. And,
Yeah. I think a lot of the public isn't aware of the fact that the United States pays a disproportionate share of the NATO expenses,
and then we get
even though
taken
like
advantage of on trade. So think
yeah,
about it.
well, I mean, the point of NATO is defending Europe, and it's it's like then okay, well, why is the United States paying disproportionately more to defend Europe than Europe? That doesn't make sense. That's unfair, and that is an appropriate thing to address.
Well,
Um,
when you talk about
so
cost cutting and savings and everything else, I mean, honestly, look, there's nobody that feels worse about the Ukraine situation than I do because I know it would have never happened. I know
So
Zelensky.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You notice how we're able to talk about this? They're talking about free speech, and Elon Musk. You notice how they're able to talk about this? Like, do you think this would have even really been talked about in this sort of depth without it being suppressed on something else? I don't know, because the whole free speech thing is so hammered. The only speech that I think that should be censored is anything that comes out of a tranny's mouth. But for the most part, I support freedom of speech for everybody. All right, let's go back to the clip.
He was very honorable to me because when they went with the Russia hoax and they said I had a phone call with him, he said it was a perfect phone call. It was a great phone call. He could have grandstanded and said, oh, he was very threatening. He said, no, it was a very nice phone call. I called him up to congratulate him on his win, and you end up getting impeached because these people are
yeah, yeah,
lunatics. I was talking about the difference from the people within and the enemies on the outside. In many cases, the people from within are more dangerous for our country than the Russias and the Chinas. If you have a smart president, you're not going to have a problem with them. You're going to do things.
yeah,
Now, they've taken advantage
yeah,
of us
absolutely.
incredibly, but you're going to do things with the right person.
Yeah, well, I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with with false attacks, and you didn't try to shut down the media. You didn't try to uh, inhibit their freedom of speech, and I think that says a lot.
Well, the good thing is that you and I have, and some people, very few, we can get the word out. Although sometimes it's hard because they don't want to print it, like we're having a great conversation right now. Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't because she's not
No.
smart. She's not a smart person, by the way. She can't have this conversation. And Biden, we don't even have
I'm
to
not gonna
talk
lie.
about it.
I'm not gonna lie. Listen, guys, I'm not gonna lie. If I was a bash, I'm married. I don't cheat on my wife. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have smashed the fuck out of Kamala 30 years ago. I mean, let's just be objective here. She did work hard. She was a prosecutor, I think. Her mother was very. I respect her mother, who fought for breast cancer research and maybe saved some lives. So I respect Kamala, man. I'm all jokes aside. Her mother, especially. And Kamala has done some good things. I mean, it's easy to just write her off as a bimbo. I think that's not right to do that. And I think the Democrats are a lot stronger than we think. They don't care. They'll take this fucking election if they want. And there's nothing you're going to do about it. They'll fucking take it. They're not scared of you. They're not. They'll take it if they want it. And that's a reality. So these people aren't as stupid as you think, dude. It's wishful thinking to say Kamala's a dumb bitch just because she looks like a pretty girl with big tits and maybe was fucking the former mayor of San Francisco or something, Willie Brown. That's the easy thing to do, is say she's a bimbo. In reality, she's smart. You don't get that far being stupid, dude. I know for some of you low IQ motherfuckers, you look at her as a bimbo. She's black. She's Pakistani or whatever. Oh, she looks like a colored with big tits. She's stupid. No, she's not stupid. She's not. Don't be low IQ. She's not stupid. Am I going to go vote for the bimbo? No. But I'm just trying to tell you, don't look at her like a fucking stupid bimbo that doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Rumble and X, let's look at the chat. Rumble and X have been some of my favorite video platforms also because they offer more relaxed rules and greater freedom. My man. Picasso Ceramics. Okay, we got the Chinese Communist Party here at 11:55 in the chat. What's up, Chinese Communist Party? Wendy Frosty, my man. Let's go. All right, let's look at the comments here. Yeah. So anyway, back to okay. I was talking about Kamala Harris. So Kamala Harris, some of you guys think she's a bimbo. She got maybe some nice tits, nice ass, but again. I just want to emphasize, if this was 3 decades ago, I would have pounded the shit out of Kamala. I had a light-skinned girlfriend in high school, half white, half black, nice tits. Now, I actually went and saw her on LinkedIn. She has pronouns in her bio, and she might even be a lesbian. But that's some crazy shit, right? That's my high school sweetheart. She's some nice tits though, and I remember the black guys hated me. Black guys hated me in the high school because I had like the baddest light-skinned black girl in the high school. And then there was another beautiful light-skinned black girl in the high school. And this Afghani dude had her. So just imagine, there wasn't that many blacks in my school. And the 2 baddest light-skinned black girls in the high school, I had like 2,000 kids. Imagine, the 2 baddest, most beautiful ones, mixed ones, light-skinned, fucking nice tits, beautiful face, both with Middle Eastern guys. They fucking hated us. Maybe they didn't hate us. Maybe they just hated me. Who fucking knows? But that's how I know. But that's how I know Kamala isn't black, because I'd never fuck a black chick. So, all right, guys. So let's go back to the thing.
I mean, he couldn't have this conversation. He would have given up on the first half of a question. He would have walked out. He would have said, "Where am I? Where am I going?" So anyway, but no, he wouldn't have this.
That's true.
Not a lot of people would have this conversation, but we cover a lot of territory. But the beauty is that we can have a conversation, and I'm able to get it out without, because I get treated unfairly.
This is a really big point. You can actually have a conversation with you.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
And you can't have a conversation with Biden or Kamala. It's like it's not possible.
That's
So this is like talking to an NPC.
No.
So it's just impossible.
Well, but think of it. We need a man or person who's unbelievably sharp in order to stop all the nuclear danger and all the dangers that I'm talking about. And I got along with all these. I got along with Kim Jong-un. We had dinner. We had everything. And he really liked me, and I got along with him really well. By the way, he's the absolute boss over there. A lot of people said, "Oh, do you think he really?"
That's for
Let
sure.
me tell you, I saw things that you don't want to know about. He is the boss. But we had a good relationship, and he doesn't like Biden. He considers him a stupid man. He said he's a stupid man. Well, at least he speaks his mind. But in this country, you're not sort of allowed to say it. But I guess you are. You should be allowed to say it if it's true. But we need smart people, and we need people that have an ability to lead. And she doesn't have that ability. Can you imagine? Now, Chairman Xi very well. Can you imagine her and him negotiating, or
No, it's
even
silly. It would be
standing
silly.
together?
What do you guys think about Kamala Harris negotiating with the leader of Russia, dude? Everyone's outside, bro. The leader of China, bro. It's like you're trying to negotiate with a girl, with a bimbo that looks good. You want to fucking rail her. Like, this is going to be our president. Let's just be objectively honest here for a second and just objectively talk about this. Please let me know, chat, what you guys think. Please, in the chat, please tell me who's more scary, Trump or Kamala, who you'd want to bang. Just be honest and don't be racist. All right, let's go back.
It is, the whole concept
Yeah.
is ridiculous. She is terrible. She's terrible, but she's getting a free ride. I
It
saw a
was,
picture of her
yeah, yeah.
on Time Magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was a drawing, and
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
she looked very much like our great First Lady, Melania. She looked, she looked, didn't look,
Yeah.
she didn't look like Camilla. That's right. But of course, she's a beautiful woman, so we'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah, well, maybe like I think part of what people in America want to, people in America want to feel excited and inspired about the future. They want to feel like the
It's
future is
true.
going to be better than the past, and that America is going to do things that are greater than we've done in the past, reach
Right.
new heights that make you proud to be an American, and excited about the future. Um,
They want the
I
American
think
dream
just
back. They want the American dream back. More important than anything else. It's like you don't have that today because the people, they've been just sucked. They see incompetent people running our. You know, the Biden thing is very interesting. People just found him to be incompetent, and when I debated him, I was like, "Is this for real?" It was
Yeah, it was just absurd. But I think there are like some grand projects that we could do. I mean, I think like we could build a base on the moon. We could send American astronauts to Mars. We
right.
could build high speed
Yep.
connections that are more advanced than anything else in the world between our cities, so people have fast transport. Um, that it's possible to solve traffic with tunnels.
That's right.
We already made great progress in Vegas doing that, and and just do things that are exciting and inspiring and make the future feel like it's better than the past.
Well, I saw
And
what you did in Vegas, and I'll tell you, it was amazing. I got to see. I took a big glimpse at it, and it's incredible. It's incredible, and you could do that all over. You could do that all over. It's deep.
yeah,
You
and
don't
that's
even need much structure, assuming
I
you're
mean,
in the right area.
let's just talk about this. So let's just talk about this idea of Kamala Harris as our leader. Okay, no big deal. Our commander in chief that's going to save us from a world war, right? Kamala Harris, as we're potentially going into world war. China, the Chinese Communist Party has maybe 500,000 fucking fake accounts all over social media pushing hate in our country. Iran, they're not going to respect that bimbo. Fucking Russia, he ain't going to respect that fucking bimbo. Vladimir will fucking give it a hard pipe. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, let's get back to the point. Someone said, yeah, that guy's more dangerous. Trump has no more matchup. Kamala is more scary than Trump. Trump ain't scary. I trust him more. Kim Jong-un is really a badass. Trump can protect Americans from him. Our best bet for Kamala to save us from nuclear war is if she can give a nice blowjob. But if she can't, we're fucked. Imagine if our entire nation gets blown up because our president accidentally used her teeth. That's all I got to say. Let's go back to it.
No, it's straightforward.
It's amazing.
So I think we could do some things that like China's got incredible high speed rail between its cities, but I think it's actually possible with tunnels if with deregulation with an ability to actually where it's like legal to actually do the tunnels. Then you could have high speed tunnels that are actually better than anything else in the world for high speed transport between cities. And that would be something that Americans can say, "Wow, okay, we've got something that's cooler than anyone else in the
Yeah.
world." That's the kind of thing that makes you proud to be an
And
American.
much safer than surface trains where there is a danger there, with people, with crazy
Yeah,
people. It's much safer, much better. And, it's sad because I've seen some of the greatest trains. I find it fascinating. And I've seen the systems and how they work, and the bullet trains, they call them, I guess. And they,
yeah,
they go unbelievably fast, unbelievably comfortable, with no problems. And we don't have anything like that in this country, not even close. And
yeah.
it doesn't make sense that we don't. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I think also like there's I'm kind of hopping on the excess regulation, but I think something that um that I think people can generally understand is that what happens with laws and regulations is that there's more and more of them every year, and unless there's a process to clean them up, eventually everything becomes
You're right.
illegal, and that actually it slows down the development of new technologies. I mean, if you take the sort of like I think there's room for some reform at the FDA
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
improving the speed with which we approve drugs that could help save lives and improve people's
Yeah.
lives. And
I worked very hard
and
on that.
you know
We got that down
yeah,
to the lowest number ever, and we got therapeutics approved in the FDA that people can't even believe the speed. But I took them on. I don't think they like me too much, but I got things approved in the FDA at numbers that they wouldn't believe. And it's a very bureaucratic group. Actually, it's a fine group of people in many cases. I got to know a lot of them, but I was pushing them really hard for Regeneron, for so many different things that were really pretty amazing. But the FDA takes too long. It's 12 years to get a product approved. I got it down to 4, and I
yeah.
got some things done very quickly. But it's really something that is going to have to be worked on because it takes too long. Just takes too long.
Yeah, it just takes too long, and it's you end up in the same with the approval, but it's just it takes years instead of something that I think could potentially take
Yeah.
months, and that improves people's lives. I
Yeah.
think I just wanted to sort of hop on this point that like there has to be an active process for reducing rules and regulations, because otherwise they just keep building up every year, and
Yep.
you get like hardening of the arteries, and eventually everything's illegal or takes forever, and then we just ossify as a society. We can't make any
Yeah.
progress, and that's it's a really big
Well,
deal.
Elon, just
So
getting back to the
You
FDA for
guys
one
think
second. I
there is
got
too
something
much
done.
regulation? I mean, there is something to be said about that, where like look at the artificial intelligence that's coming out on how to save people's lives. All jokes aside, like not for nothing, like if you have a new artificial, if you have a new, like I did this cancer screening, does like 500 cancers, called Prenuvo. There's another company called Ezra, and essentially you get screened. I took my mom and I took my wife last year in November, and basically it scans for cancers. And the idea is to get cancer at stage like 0, stage 1, because your odds of survival is much higher. I mean, you got people that can go live a full fucking life and get cancer early, right? And then you got other people that get cancer late and they fucking die. But there's people who get cancer late and they fucking still go on and live great lives. But I'm just saying the odds are lower, right? So imagine if you got new technology. Like, look at that. Like, I just did a colonoscopy. I'm probably older than a lot of you guys. I just did a colonoscopy where they stick a tube in your ass. So for like 3 days, I ate like rice, I think like chicken, like fish or some shit. And then for one day I fasted. Then I go in, I lay down, they put me to sleep, and they put a big tube in your ass, as they did with me. And when they go put the tube in your ass, they have a camera. And then they can look in your colon to see if you got cancer or polyps. Because if you do, they can extract it, like right there. And hopefully you don't have it. So I went and got that shit. Thankfully, I didn't have colon cancer. But I encourage all of you to go get your colonoscopy, first of all. Don't wait till you're 45 or 50. Go get that shit. But the thing is that what if now there's a new company called, or not a new company, there's a company called Guardian. And I think they have like a liquid test or like a blood test. You can find out you got colon cancer with some pretty good accuracy. I might not be the gold standard of a colonoscopy, but it's still pretty good. Anyway, long story short, to Elon's point, if we got technologies and medicines that can help save people's lives, but we're waiting 5, 10, 15 fucking years for a clinical trial or a study to show it so you can see that it's effective or not. Well, fucking 2 million people die while they're waiting for that shit. I don't know. I'm a big proponent of fasting too. So I fast, you know. So I try to get my blood tested every 3 months. at a minimum. And I look for biomarkers and stuff like that. And I try to fast about once a month for, now it's been about 5. Next month will be about 6 consecutive months, between 72 to 96 hours. If any of you guys ever want to do fasting, I try to do it like the first week of the month. I'm not selling you on a coaching program. I have nothing to sell you when it comes to fasting. But if you ever want to do fasting, you want to join me on a monthly fast, just send me a DM on my Instagram. Just put fast. There's no supplement for you to buy. There's no coaching for you to buy. Literally, it's just we can maybe get in a group text, or I'll text with you and I can help you, because fasting's really helped me a lot. And it's like a doctor. One of my doctors explained to me, because I have like a physician and then I have another doctor that does functional medicine to help me achieve optimal health. I'm 43. And she said it like fasting is like you got a dirty toilet or dirty bathroom, and you're basically cleaning it up. You're cleaning it, And I'm 43, but my biological age is 33. So my biological age is about a decade younger. And yesterday, and I had a bladder issue last year. I was fucked up. But now, thank God, my doctor told me yesterday that my age and how my health is and my biomarkers is like one of the best. She sees someone as good as mine like once a week. You would have told me that last year, a little over a year ago. I thought I was fucking dying. Anyway, drink a lot of water. Don't fuck up your bladder. All right. All right. So let's get back to this Elon Musk thing. You guys here talking about dick, bladder, all of this shit. Let's get back to the conversation. You don't want to get no fucking issue with your bladder, bro. They start going, they put a fucking dick. I'm talking about a tube in your ass. Think about a tube that goes inside your dick. Think about having another man grab your balls and your dick and then put a fucking tube inside your fucking dick. That's what I've gone through. I don't know what you've gone through. Okay. I've had a woman put a tube in my ass, and I have a fucking man who fucking grab my dick, grab my balls, and basically put a fucking tube inside of my dick. This is what I've experienced. All right. It's called aging, motherfucker. All right. Take care of yourselves in your 20s and 30s. Don't think you're fucking invincible. All right. And get tested. Get your blood tested. Get your shit tested. Get your fucking blood tested. Get fucking all of that shit tested. Get the cancer screenings. Get all of that. Make sure you don't got fucking diabetes, pre-diabetes, fucking high blood sugar, pressure, whatever the fuck. Make sure you got a healthy body weight. Get all that stuff done. All right. Let's get back to the point. Let's go back to
right to try. This is where you can go in, and if you're terminally ill, you can use a space age, medicine or whatever it may be. We have the best doctors, the best labs in the world. We really do. But people would go to other countries because you couldn't use the product, even if they thought it worked, because it's going through the FDA. I got it approved where you can, you basically, look, nobody wanted, the doctors didn't want it because of the liability. The country didn't want it, our country, because they didn't want to get sued. These are people terminally ill. The insurance companies didn't want it, and the pharmaceutical companies, nobody wanted it. I got everybody into a room, and we came up with an agreement that you won't get sued. And also, they didn't want it on their record. If somebody's terminally ill and they die after taking a drug, they didn't want that on their record. So we set a separate list. If somebody was, so it wouldn't count as a negative. Okay. And as you know, we got it done. We have saved right to try. They've been trying to get this done for 58 years. And it sounds simple, but it wasn't, because if, the insurance companies, nobody wanted it, but we got it done.
Sure.
Somebody you sign a document that you're not going to sue the insurance companies, the country, you're not going to sue anybody. And we got it done. And we're saving tens of thousands of lives. Right to try. Hopefully you never need it. But if you do, you don't have to travel to Asia. People, if they had money, they go to Asia, they go to Europe. If they don't have money, they go home and die. That's what happened. They'd go home and die.
That's sad. Go ahead.
I mean, and actually, to give Europe some props here, it's like if a drug is approved in Europe, which has a crazy amount of regulations, it should obviously be approved.
I'm actually here in Germany right now. I'm actually in Germany right now. Okay, and just to give you an example, you see that's a fucking German old thing my wife's grandma gave us. So her Opa. They call it Opa, Oma in Deutschland in German, grandma, grandpa. Anyway, let's stay focused. So here in Germany, I have health insurance. So what many of you Americans don't realize is how you get ripped off. In America, you can go get your fucking dick checked, and all of a sudden you got a fucking $5,000 bill. No bullshit. You're getting your dick checked. You're getting X, Y, and Z taken care of you. All of a sudden, you got $5,000 bill. Here in Germany, you can go get your dick, your ass, your heart, all of that tested, and you got health insurance. You know, and that's important because that could save your fucking life. And there's good doctors here. You know, that's the thing. So when they're talking about this stuff, that's an American thing where all of a sudden, oh, you're going to sue your insurance company. Why? Insurance company did. You paying all the premiums and they still didn't fucking pay. They still didn't fucking take care of you. You're paying all these premiums and you still got to pay up to $5,000. That's fucking insane. Here in Germany, we got health insurance. I got health insurance for my wife. I got health insurance for my daughter. We can go as much as we want. Shit, I'm going to go this week, get my vitamin just for fun and giggles. I'll pay like maybe $50. I go get my vitamin B12 and some iron because I want to have optimal vitamin B12 and iron, for example. But I'm just saying, like, if I want to go get my vitamin D tested, it's like $25 or something like that. Now the thing is that it's not that hard here. It doesn't cost that much money. And there's a bunch of things that are taken care of here, you know? So someone says, I agree with Trump. Jews are voting for the people who hate them. No different than blacks or Hispanics or anyone. Trump, Vance, 24. Make America normal again. It's funny you talk about the blacks because Democrats think Trump is racist. I mean, so he's saying basically the blacks and the Hispanics in the Democrat Party, right? So Democrats think Trump is a racist and believe that if he gets mad enough, he'll bring back slavery. Well, Kamala's a woman, and let's just forbid that she's ever forced to take accountability. She might just set off the atom bomb. Who knows? Let's get into it. I understand your perspective, but let's approach this topic with nuance and respect. Voting decisions are complex and personal. Let's focus on constructive conversations and fact-based information too. Fact-based information. Okay. So for those of you who didn't hear me before, I say it again. Our best bet for Kamala to save us from nuclear war is if she can give a nice blowjob. Because if she can't, we are fucked. Imagine if our whole nation gets blown up because our president accidentally used her teeth. Let's go back to Trump and X. Let's go back to Trump and Elon.
I mean, they got more regulations than we do. So why would a drug be approved in Europe and not in the US? That's crazy.
Well, we did it. We did something that really, they've been trying to do it for 50 years and they just couldn't get it done. And I got it done. And it's really something. But you're right. Some people go to Europe because a drug isn't approved here, but it's approved in Europe. And it's a drug that, generally speaking, would work. It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
You're right.
And I think so long as people are properly informed of the pros and cons and like these are the risks, these are the risk, and like you make your own decision. Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, I think just know, in sort of closing up, and by the way, I'm looking at the numbers. You got a lot of people listening. I hope you don't get nervous because you got a lot of people listening to you right now, like 60 million or something. What is that number? It's crazy. It's amazing how you can see that right away. How many? What is the number? Wow. What is it?
Well,
wow.
I think in terms of people,
that's bigger than you said. You said 25, and you're much more than double that number, 25 million. I think you're going to be 60 or 70, and I guess over a period of time. Hey, I congratulate you. Do I get paid for this or not?
Well, I think actually in terms of the number of people that will hear this conversation over the next few days to weeks, it's going to be hundreds.
That's what they say. Yeah, that's good. Well, look, it's an honor. I just asked this: are you better off now, or were you better off when I was president? Nobody's better off now. People, we put out polls on that, and nobody's better off now. Inflation has killed it. And, you know, they also feel very unsafe. You look at what's going on with a lot of different things. You look at the riots we had at the
Yeah,
colleges over, I mean, it's ridiculous, but
right.
all of the riots, they just feel unsafe. And now they really feel unsafe because you have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. I call it Biden
Well,
migrant
yeah.
crime. Maybe I'll call it
Well,
Kamala migrant crime. But
you know, I mean, with all these things, I always try to get to the ground truth by just asking people. And you know, my mom lives in New York, and I was like, you know, mom, you know, do you know, have you any of your friends, you know, been attacked or assaulted? And she said, yeah, three of her friends in three
it's
separate
crazy.
incidents were assaulted just in recent months, just walking around the streets of New York. And I said, well, did what happened to the people that assaulted them? Oh, nothing. They got away. Like, and they just
They
know that
always get away.
nothing's gonna,
You know, it's
and they
interesting.
don't ever, and that they don't even.
It's interesting. It's interesting that Elon talks about that because they say it's always best to turn the other cheek. I used to be a teacher in my early childhood. Being a teacher forces you to learn how to control your temper because those kids will do their best to antagonize you. I had one student who kept calling me a bald Jew, and I had to do my best, you know, to basically keep my composure. Well, but what I really wanted to do was pop the little fucker in his esophagus, but I knew that would get me fired. So I said, fuck it. Broke the fucker's windpipe and quit my darn self. That's when I got into entrepreneurship and became a multimillionaire within a few years. The point of the story is Alpha King rule number 695. Don't turn your own cheek, turn theirs with a closed fist. Thank you, everybody, for being on the stream. It's been pretty fucking amazing. I can't believe this many of you actually stayed. I mean, it's pretty cool. Thank you to Rumble. Thank you to everybody that's been here. Pretty fucking mind blowing that this many people stayed and listened and enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the night with me. I enjoyed the night with you. Got my wife butt naked in bed, almost butt naked in bed. I'm gonna go join her and go brush my teeth, of course, first, do my prayer, get in bed with my wife. Thank you for being with me. Appreciate you. Please, if you enjoyed the stream, subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot if you subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, and you know, maybe send the stream to a couple of your friends if you think they'd enjoy it. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a really good evening. And yeah, that's it. Don't be gay.